So hey guys, this is the second part of our podcast, and we are here with the Novritsch guys.
Yes.
Novritsch. Hey guys, this is the second part of our podcast, and we are here with the
Novritsch guys. Novritsch.
Novritsch.
Or just screw it up
Or
and
just
we
say
laugh
just-
about
yeah.
it and it's fine. Like,
Hey guys, we're in Austria, and this is the podcast. Who are you guys?
Okay, who are we? My name is Christoph. This is Joseph. We come from the company Novritsch. Novritsch is a company that develops airsoft guns and airsoft products, which you can see here on the table. And we've invited these guys here to play airsoft, which is why we are actually now sitting in the studio. Joseph, marketing manager. Who are you?
well, I am Joseph. I'm.
Are you the marketing manager, perhaps?
Well, yeah. I'm okay. So what do I do? I'm actually a hybrid, like of a real steel shooter and an airsofter for 14 years. I've been shooting real guns for 8-ish years, something like that. So I do both, and I combine them and I take the best out of both worlds, really, because there are certain things that you can do with airsoft replicas that you cannot do with real steel guns. And there are some things that you can only do in real steel, mainly like managing recoil, things like that, which obviously with airsoft guns is a little bit harder because they work on a different principle. And yeah, I happen to work for a Novritsch airsoft company, and we do guns. We do them every day of the week, 24/7 pretty much. So this is our life. We are surrounded by guns, pretty much just like you, just in airsoft.
That was really good. You went on the defensive immediately, because my first question would be like, "Ooh, airsoft! Isn't that for girls and kids? You know, like."
Well,
No, but
Played airsoft today.
if we keep it real, you know, we have primarily shooters as our primary audience, and that was a very good introduction. So airsoft, like a lot of people don't know what airsoft is, you know, especially older people or shooters that do not venture in this sport. They think it's just, you know, a kid's play or whatever.
yeah, to answer his question, it's basically the closest, apart from simunition, but that's a very specific, it's very hard to get simunition training. Airsoft is the most accessible, the cheapest, and very realistic way to train things with real functioning, real looking guns that you cannot do with real steel guns. If I say it simply, you can shoot people without going to jail, and you can train everything that's revolving around this, and it's actually a lot of fun. So
As we found out
that's that.
today. Yeah.
Yes.
I would just like maybe add to your answer, which was really good. Airsoft guns are just like, they're props, they're a tool. Now, sure, you can use them as a game, you know, you can use them as a sport, you can use them for actual serious training, and I know for a couple of real military units, they use it for CQB training.
Yeah.
You know, it just depends on how you use it, you know, and but it has its limitations, but also a lot of positive sides. You know, it's cheaper than simunition, for example. It's less dangerous than simunition, and for some parts it can actually be more realistic, because a lot of people don't know simunition jams a lot. It does not have the range, the accuracy. There are a lot of limitations.
Yeah. And the best part about airsoft is you can do it in your living room, in your bedroom. You just put up a cardboard box, you stuff it with, I don't know, a towel or something, and you can literally train all this that people do all day long. You can transition to targets, sight picture, sight alignment, how to grip the gun properly. There is a bit of recoil. Some guns have more, some less, and it's exactly the same thing. It has exactly the same size, the same shape. Like, for example, I started playing airsoft with the Glock 26 Advanced, like, Glock. Full size. It's the 26, but it has the bottom and the upper part, so it's a full size. And then when I transitioned to real steel, I already had like the grip angle figured out, the sights were there, everything was there. I just learned to manage the recoil, and I kind of got really fast to a reasonable level of accuracy, speed, and all that. So you get to train, me personally, I would say 80 to 90% of real steel just with a cheap airsoft pistol, for example. Same goes for long guns as well.
Yeah, I can add to this answer. Yesterday we were also filming a video. I'm not sure when it will be published, or is it already published on our channel, but we're filming a video how airsoft compares to real guns and how you can use it. And I was using so the gun here, this is your gun, the SSP-18, right?
Yes.
And it's very similar in shape and size as the Glock, right?
Yes.
I used this one for training and I was mind blown. Like the trigger, all of the functions, just, yeah, you can use it as a really good training aid.
This one is obviously a little more fancy. You don't need the red dot, you don't need the suppressor, you don't need the light. You can just get the plain pistol and like it's there. This one is like for the show a little bit.
Okay. And now a very important question. I think people that know you guys would like to hear. Are you really the best airsoft player in the world?
Of course. Of course. What do you think?
I don't think
No.
he introduced himself. So this is a great introduction
I
for
forgot to
everything.
choose. Yeah, my name is Christoph. I'm the best airsoft player in the world.
There we go. That's the end of the podcast.
And then a second question.
Wait,
If
wait,
you're...
I have to get back to this. Okay,
You have to
airsoft is not-
defend himself.
Airsoft
Defend
is
yourself.
not a competitive sport whatsoever. Airsoft, I mean,
It shouldn't
also,
be.
also,
Definitely.
okay, I have to advance a bit because you guys talk a lot about how airsoft is, complementary to range training.
Mhm.
But I would say for the majority of the airsoft community, they don't think like this. They don't think, okay, I play airsoft because when shit hits the fan, I can grab a real gun and go to town.
But you can. But you can.
That's how Joseph thinks, and he also represents, I think, let's say 20% of the airsoft community. But most people really just say, this looks cool and it looks fun and just go out and have fun. But they don't really think about real guns. Even though I have to agree, when, before I went to the military, I did play airsoft a lot. And when they gave me a Glock, I knew immediately what to do. I knew how to take it apart. Same for the Steyrock. I had an airsoft Steyrock. I knew how to take it apart. I knew how to clean it. I knew how to maintain it to a certain degree. Because it's extremely similar, yeah.
Funny thing, same story for me. Like, my first experience with a Steyr was with an airsoft one.
Yeah.
And when I got real one in my hands, I immediately knew how to take it apart.
It's like,
Yeah. That was like, and the guy was like, "Oh, do you know this rifle?" I was like, "Shit, I never shot with it." Like I only, I only knew the airsoft model, but it disassembled exactly the same as the real one. So that was interesting. Okay, so next question that it's tied to the first one. If you really are the best airsoft player in the world, why didn't you play with us today? And is it because you were afraid?
Yes.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Short answer.
I saw your
Next
videos.
question.
I was like, no fucking way. I cannot lose the title of the best airsoft player in the world.
I think you're safe.
I brought some 9mm with me just in case someone would not agree and not take his hits. Okay.
Well, should we actually answer it? Well, the reason is because we wanted to make sure that everything is just set up properly and that you guys have fun, because we invited you here and the amount of things that need to be prepared for a proper airsoft game is just, you saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
It was all over the place, and like if you do it for the first time, you are probably struggling a little bit with how do you adjust this, how do you do it. There are some specifics for airsoft, and
I would
And
also say-
cameras.
Yeah, exactly.
Put 3
That was-
cameras on a person and make sure they roll for 6 hours straight. It's not easy.
that's the worst part.
And
the
just for
cameras.
people that did not watch this kind of podcast on your channel, maybe we have a couple of those. Just to explain, so we came here to Austria because they invited us, and we went to an airsoft game today to see how we will do. Here are the guns, here's the equipment, go. And it was really fun. I think we learned a lot. We all enjoyed it, and we have a couple of conclusions for that game. But for that, I think for these details, you should go watch their podcast. Yes, cameras, like you said, that was one big part of everything, trying to somehow film the game. One thing that I noticed, when we were sneaking and trying to flank some guys, our cameraman was with us with a high visibility vest, standing next to me and pointing the camera at me. And that was like a flag, like I am here, like the guy is here.
Shoot me.
So
Exactly.
there's a lot of limitations, and I saw that you guys really have a lot of equipment, a lot of things to think about, and now just the amount of footage. So 3 guys, 3 cameras. That's like per a person.
Today it was actually 12 plus
12.
one
Oh,
camera.
shit.
12 plus one camera only today. And that's the biggest reason why we couldn't play, because we know how much hassle that is. And yeah, going back to your point, like the camera guy is there and it's like, hey, I'm here. That's the trade-off when you are making a video and playing playing Airsoft. So those are 2 completely different things, and you kind of have to. It's a trade-off like between those 2. Either you just purely focus on Airsoft, and then it's simple because you only have one thing to take care about. That is the game and the gun, or you're just playing Airsoft. But then when you're recording, it's just a mess.
You have to put your cameraman in a camouflage suit and make him crawl behind you and make a video like that.
But then you don't get the cool footage, because you need to be
It's always
running
a
around.
compromise, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's not easy. Even for us, like when we go to a game, we are struggling so much most of the time with all the cameras, and there is always some SD card that fails and battery's empty. And
I was surprised to hear that you guys don't have a GoPro. Why is that? Why didn't you have because we have selfie cam on the gun, head cam, and then like a zoom cam that you can see the shot, right? Why is this not a thing in real estate shooting?
The cam that looks where you are shooting, I don't know, we would have to try it. We did once, like way back, we tried with the GoPros. For me, the footage that you do, like for the outside camera, filming it you loaded with GoPros, that doesn't look right to me. Like if we're doing cinematic video, if we're doing tactics, those GoPros don't look that good. So essentially you would have to make the same footage twice, one for the GoPro, one for the cameraman. Second thing, like with real steel, a lot of times you're shooting a target so far away that the GoPro will not catch it properly. Just like wide lens and just boring footage. What I think would really work is the selfie cam. So putting a camera on a gun that films your face, and you can see the reactions, where you're looking, how are you shooting, maybe some recoil. So we were actually talking about this. I think we will try it on a real gun and see how it looks.
then you can also see the faces when we are aiming. It's always like
Yeah.
The beautiful faces.
Yeah.
always something weird. Like when I sometimes watch my footage, it's like, what am I doing when I'm focused? I don't even know.
Delete.
Cut it out. Switch to the other camera.
The interesting thing that I noticed with real guns, when I shoot, I kind of squint. Like it looks like I'm closing my eyes, but I squint. And it just like, I don't know, I don't notice it when I'm shooting. I can shoot really fast. I can see the targets, everything. But on a camera, you can see that I'm squinting somehow.
You are. It's actually sharpening your vision to the distance a little bit.
Could
So
be.
if you, because
I'm
I
really-
wear glasses,
Yeah.
and I know when I need to see something, I do this, and I
Yes.
see better.
Yeah.
I see
Because
better.
it's smaller.
Yeah,
Aperture.
maybe, or it kind of pushes your eyeball in some direction. I don't know the physics behind it.
Science, right? Yeah.
Maybe it's like with those glasses that have holes in it, and if you have a smaller.
Wait! I
Maybe.
can't see it. Let me just push my eyeball.
Hey, you're laughing, but it works, okay?
I learned that in high school when I was looking at the board, and I was like
Or to
tilting my
the
head back and
or-
going like this.
or to the other people's like tests. Like what is there?
So I don't know if this will be interesting for our viewers, but it's very interesting for me. How did you guys start? I know you started with a YouTube channel, and I know that I watched some of your videos like early on and over the years. But how were you able to turn that such a big and successful company as this. And that's my personal interest, and I would really like to know because.
Okay, that's a long. It's a long story. I will try to keep
Make
it
it short. Yeah.
Okay, I started with 14 years old, which is illegal. You are allowed to play with 18, but many people, such as me, just buy it through the parents' credit card.
Okay, so that's interesting. So Airsoft in Austria
It's 80 plus.
18 plus.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have this limitation in Slovenia.
Also in Czech Republic.
Well, you can buy the rifles when you are 18. It's category D, air gun. But
Category D.
So
yeah,
you
it's
have to
category
have a
D.
license.
But no, you don't have to have a license. It's when you are 18, you can buy it. It's just like an air gun, the
break
classic
barrel.
Slavia thing, for example. But if you have the permission of your parents, you can just play with it. Like, it's fine. Or if you are really young, your father, for example, can take you there, play with you, which is a really cool thing to do with your kids as well. You have fun, you are outdoors, you are sporting or like running around. And I see very young people playing airsoft with proper protection, proper gear, and it's completely fine.
So for
At least in like Czech Republic, for example.
that's interesting. I didn't know that. For people that don't know, in most of Europe, you have different categories of weapons, not firearms. And category D is like knives and like slings and bows and whatever. And airsoft goes in category D
In Czech Republic. Here,
because
no.
in Slovenia, legally, it's a toy.
Also
anyone
Here
can buy it.
also, yeah.
Okay.
It's a toy.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so sorry to interrupt you.
Okay, yeah, so I started with 14. Then when I was 18, I discovered the actual airsoft community, because back then it was just with friends in the forest, messing around. When I discovered the community, I was absolutely mind blown, because we were just wearing, like a hoodie and some gun and skiing goggles and stuff. And we saw, okay, there's actually legit gear, and it looks authentic, and there's milsim, and there's vehicles driving around, and helicopters flying around, and like this is something way bigger than we expected. Because all of this looked so cool, I wanted to make videos, so I put cameras all over me, and I started making videos. And back then, no one really did this, so it blew up quite big, the channel. And then people always asked, hey, which gear are you using? What's this gun that you're using? Why does it shoot so well? And the gun that I had was heavily upgraded with, custom-made parts and so on. Yeah, and then I just realized, what if we would make a gun that's kind of ready out of the box?
Was that a sniper rifle?
That was a sniper rifle. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yes.
I remember that. I don't know how old I was, but I remember that you put out like a rifle. The first one was a sniper rifle,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's 24. Yeah. Which was basically me and my best friend. We flew to Taiwan, because this is where most of the airsoft guns are made. And we just scouted for different factories, and we found one that makes an okay-ish decent gun. And we spent, I think, 4 months in the factory, 4 to 5 months. Just told them, this is different, this must be different, this. Yes, this is how we created the first product. And we brought it to the market, and then somehow, with a lot of good people, like Joseph, all of this was created, yeah.
So I guess we should design a real gun and sell it.
And fly to Taiwan, spend 4 months there.
Just
I think it's harder with real guns, honestly.
yeah.
Because
Probably.
we could just ship. We were literally shipping them from Taiwan to all customers all over the world. If you would pull this off, if you can pull this off with a real gun, then I'm pulling my
Probably
head.
not.
Well, not legally, but there are ways. So how should I put this? I imagine that I put myself into I don't want to insult anyone. I don't want to say like our average viewer, but let's say our maybe like a small minority of our viewers that never heard about airsoft, or they just heard some of it, and their question would be why, why do you dress like a military guy? Are you training for something, or are you just like imitating?
Yeah.
I don't know. This kind of like very.
That's legit questions, definitely. And I think they're easy to answer because, so first of all, most people who go into airsoft, they used to play video games. They watched movies and they kind of look up to these people, right? They say, I want to be like this guy, or I play Call of Duty, and there they use the P90, for example. I love this gun in Call of Duty, so I want to have it myself, right? At the same time, the stuff that we're using is just functional. We have a uniform that's in camouflage patterns because we also don't want to be seen. We have a plate carrier because the BB is hurt and you want to protect yourself. We have an optic in our gun because a red dot just makes the most sense at the distances we're shooting. Why do we have pistols? Because sometimes there's not enough space and you need something small to shoot. So, in a sense, it just makes sense to use what people use in real combat. Because it is a combat simulation in a way.
Yeah, yeah. What I also saw today at the game, like a couple of cool guys, kind of, what's the word, LARPing, or like they were imitating certain styles, like the early Soviet era.
Reenactment, yeah.
Yeah, reenactment kind of thing, and I thought that was
Had
cool.
a shovel with them.
Yeah.
Someone-
These people take it very seriously. Like you say, okay, I want to imitate this particular unit, and you just get the full gear, and it just looks cool. You found it cool, right?
Yeah.
So that's the point.
I did. Like I
Really?
have to ask this kind of questions because I know that we have some kind of like I would call these people like maybe fuds or like people that are not used to airsoft or maybe like open-minded about this kind of stuff, because I definitely know, even before we came here, I knew a lot about airsoft. I knew how it works. I know that if you use it correctly, you can also use it for serious training. But yeah, I have to ask. Also, my add to that would be you actually have a lot of people in the real firearm world that do the same. Like a lot of people want to look cool, and they buy, for example, like real plate carriers with plates, but not because like, oh, I'm afraid that someone will shoot at me, but they buy a real plate carrier with plates just to be cool at the range. So you have the same thing in the firearm world. And I personally,
show,
it's a fashion show. It is. Like, to be completely honest, I don't see a lot wrong with that. Like, if it's your money, do what you want. If it's safe, if you're not stupid, if you're not doing any dangerous, sure, why not? If you like to dress up, do the dress up. Like, I don't care. So.
Yeah. I would maybe add a little bit to the kind of previous question. That was like why. We kind of covered why we use the gear, but why do we even do it?
Why we play airsoft?
Why we play airsoft? It's like, are we training for something or?
It's the human instinct of loving accelerating stuff, I would say. Like shooting stuff is just fun, right? It's fun.
Yeah.
And
It's fun. It's
and-
sport outdoors.
In
and
combination
hide
with
and seek
adrenaline
is
and
always, I might as well ask the other way around, because for me, honestly, it's harder to understand the fun of shooting at a target that's not shooting back compared to I'm actually moving through, I don't know, a game field that's constantly changing. The vegetation is changing. It's different angles. I'm moving. I'm shooting. The weather is changing. The people shoot back at me. There's like BBs flying past me. So for me, it's
Why would
we come from this side. Like, why would you go shoot a real gun at a paper target when I can actually shoot at people? That's I think
really
the better
good.
question.
It's
That's
like,
really
why
good.
would you lock yourself in a box and just do this?
Yeah, and restrict the movement. Yeah, and this is
Why?
safe angles.
And it's more it's more expensive. It's really hard to access. I cannot shoot at people. The people cannot shoot back at me.
Why?
Why?
It's a different kind of adrenaline.
I think
Probably.
we
It's-
found
it's,
out like the
uh,
commonality, the excitement and the adrenaline. Like with real guns, even if you're like really, like if you shoot a lot of guns, still when you come to the range, load the gun, like your adrenaline goes up a
Yeah,
bit.
definitely there has to be a lot of respect for that gun and a lot of mind put into the safety and everything, because in the end, with a real gun, you can kill a person with like that. It's that easy. With a BB gun, you
It's a
can-
different kind of thriller. I do.
you
get
just
that,
have a bruise and I guess it goes away in 3 days and that's it.
Yeah.
Though our friend almost lost an eye, but that's another story.
Maybe that's a good segue to talk about safety with airsoft. I must admit, coming more from the real steel world with real guns, like I really felt uncomfortable a lot of times, when people flag me with the guns. I know they're airsoft, but it really feels uncomfortable. And if I don't have the glasses on, it also does not feel okay, because like, I don't know, airsoft guns, like, if even if you have it unloaded without the magazine, you know, still the BBs can be inside. You know, you can have the, I don't know, the battery, whatever. I always, you know, like, it was uneasy. When we did stuff, when we do stuff with real guns, you know, we have to watch about our muzzle much more. That was one thing that I noticed. So, and for people at home that maybe don't know airsoft that much, it's sure it is designated as a toy, but it's not harmless. If you're stupid, if you shoot at people without eye protection, you can
still be very
damage them.
dangerous.
Yeah, you can damage them for life. Also, don't shoot at animals. Don't be a dick. Yeah, that was actually a very good point, and very good question. Why do we want to shoot the static targets with real guns? I would say that the connecting thing is adrenaline. You know that. I don't know, the rush. I felt it today.
And that brings me to the beginning when I kind of started this. It's complementary. It's not the same thing, but it goes very well together. So why not do both?
Yeah, definitely. What I'm seeing now is you and me are very similar. You know, for you it's complementary. For me the same. You know, sure, I can enjoy the airsoft game, but also I view it as training aid, right? For you, it's fun.
It's
Airsoft
fun,
is
yeah.
airsoft, yeah.
Just for the fun of it.
And
There's
I
no other
totally
purpose
get it.
to
Yeah, it's legit. Like, for a lot of people, also, like, real guns are real guns. So they shoot it and don't care about anything else. Perfectly reasonable. Yeah. Well, for me, if you guys didn't watch the first part of the podcast, I got really excited. So I think we will visit you guys again. I think we should do more airsoft. We should try airsoft as a training aid. Maybe do like proper force on force. I don't know. It's just I felt like a little kid again. That was awesome.
The force on force stuff, you can easily do it because you already have a bunch of airsoft players, you have a big community, and if you would organize something like this, there would be so many people willing to just try scenarios like the simunition type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the easiest thing to do in airsoft. You just need a scenario, grab a bunch of guys with airsoft, and that's it. And that's really hard to access in real steel.
Yeah, true. Like, simunition is very expensive, and you need special gear, special training to use it. So this brings us to the ultimate question: when are you guys making an AK?
When do we make an AK? That's a good question. We actually had it on our development schedule, but the P90 got in the way. But now that the P90 is done, we could look into it again. Huh? But I don't know, how would you want it P90? Would it be like a modernized, like Zukunftsstock
AK
style AK? Yeah.
You said P90.
Yeah.
Oh, AK.
Okay, but if you wanted AK, how would you want it? Would you want like mag polish furniture on it, or like a classic wooden AK?
That's a
Both,
tough one.
probably
both. That's a tough one.
I want wood and mag polish.
Actually, we just did a short video review with a AK-12, the civilian version, yesterday, and as the gun is, I was not impressed.
Me neither.
We
saw it.
Yeah,
like,
just like
looks unfinished somehow.
and it's like a bit modernized version of the AK-74. Not worth the money, you know. But if you make an airsoft gun, I would go with the AK-12. Why? One important part is that it has a really good cover with a rail already on it. You know, like, that's important. And if you have the handguard, even if you don't I don't care about that handguard. For the people that don't know, AK-12 has a special free floated handguard. The design is not good. It squeaks. It moves on a real gun. So don't copy the handguard. But if you already put maybe an M-log handguard or something on a gun, you know that from the factory. When you buy it, you can put stuff on it, you know, so it's not like just bare bones AK. I think that'll be good. So maybe you know, do your take on it. So you modernize the AK.
We modernized the P90 as well. Actually.
Yeah, you did, and
it's
you did a great job.
P90, yeah.
M-Lock P90, and you did a great job. And I think you could modernize the AK better than the Kalashnikov concern. So
Thank you.
okay, so before we end this podcast, can you tell us something about all of the products that you make and that we can see here?
Okay, at Novritsch, really we make everything from top to bottom of what an airsoft player uses in all kinds of
this is your
different-
camouflage?
Yes, so these are pants that we make. We also designed the camouflage ourselves, so this is a non-political camouflage pattern for the airsofters who don't want to be associated with any conflict.
I saw it today and it's very effective.
Thank you. We tried. We also adapted it to this exact environment here where we live in. We make, here for example, you can see a camouflage product which is on one of our gas semi-automatic sniper rifles. So we have these camouflage systems. We make SMGs, gas blowback pistols, suppressors. We also have our own textile design in-house. So we have this plate carrier, for example, nice.
This is a really cool design. Unfortunately, it's not that good for putting real plates in. But you guys should see our first podcast that we did with them, and it's on their channel. We go into details, why it's good, what is good on that plate carrier, you know, why you cannot really use real plates with it. But like I said, if you guys make something like this, you know, maybe beefed up a bit, and it can accept real plates, you get a whole new market. Because the design is cool, it's very functional, it's very ergonomic, and I would use that with a real gun. So.
Okay, I will make myself a task.
So guys, this is it for today. The second part, the first part, the second part.
The other part.
The other part of the podcast is in the description box below. This is the best airsoft player in the world. And yeah, I guess this is it. It was awesome hanging out with you guys, and thank you for everything.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.